You know, it's good. We don't normally get a lot of W's around these parts. You know, being a leftist is about being right too early, and being right too early does not get you any sort of it doesn't it's not great. Being right too early doesn't really do too much, right? Is it confusing having different names in the chat? Yeah, it is. Let's see how sweaty I am underneath this. Ooh, god damn, look at this. God damn, son. I need to change my shirt. Look at that. Yeah, bro, she was 80 degrees. Are you going to do an IRL at Qatar? Yes, I'm planning on doing it. And I think if I do it, I'm going to do it on YouTube, obviously. Stank. No, I smell great. I sweat a lot through the, but I actually do. I smell awesome. But it's 13 here, but it feels like 2. I cannot believe this Elon Musk shit, bro. This is craziness. All right, let's see what CNN is up to. Are they talking about the Epstein stuff, maybe? Because I know if I tune into Fox News, they are not talking about Jeffrey Epstein. You know what I mean? Also, yeah, like I said, join the membership chat. I haven't set out like an expectation for the number of members yet, but I believe we have around 1,400 members right now. But if we get to a certain point in the membership, I might I might, see if I'll pivot to YouTube or do consistent dual streams or something. Bro, it's literally said Donald Trump's in the files. I know because I saw him there at the island. Yeah. There's so much Epstein dumps. Do we have a video? Wait, let me see if I can find the playlist again. The Themasius playlist. Prince Andrew tortured a girl before instructing her murder. What the f? These Epstein leaks are crazy, bro. Need you to dual stream. Need my right winger bro to get converted. You being on YouTube is my only hope. Stay and stream about the leaks tomorrow. There are GTA streamers on there. Wait, what? GTA creators are on the Epstein leaks? Nah. People are making fake ones, right? There's no way. God damn. This is pretty funny. Yeah, shout out DGG. Destiny, I will have more concurrent viewership than Hassan by 2025, he said in 2024 when my audience had left me behind because of the Israel stuff. When a big chunk of my audience left. God damn. Unfortunately, rewinding is not paywalled on YouTube, but your support still allows editorial independence. The Piker Broadcasting Service is sponsored by you, the viewers, for you, the viewers. Thank you. Yeah. I show Hassan. Yep. That's what they call me now. I show Hassan, baby. Yeah, I show Speed. Better look out, bro. GTA devs have been fired before for aggression and drug problems. They organize and hang together, so I wouldn't be surprised. I doubt it, dude. I think people are making shit up. I don't think the Grand Theft Auto people are on the Epstein files. Like, that sounds crazy. LA getting crazy? Wait, are the protests still going on? He was banned on Xbox Live. Oh, I heard Jeffrey Epstein was banned on Xbox Live. I did hear that. Let's see what's good here. I want to see, like... is there a local news broadcast chat? Is there like a LA local news? Did the media, like, I obviously was out there, so I didn't get to see this, but I feel like the media didn't cover the general, like, day of action, right? Am I crazy? Or was there not really any coverage of the general day of action that took place so far? Because, like, I mean, when I went out there, I didn't see a lot of media coverage. I didn't see a lot of people that were, covering the protests that were taking place and stuff.
Let's go straight.
But there's so much going on, man. Donald Trump wants to starve out Cuba. Donald Trump wants to bomb Iran. And he's moving the carriers in the region to strike Iran and defend Israel. And then on top of that, every single high-profile elite billionaire is a pedophile, straight up. And also on top of that, there was a general day of action around the nation with tens of thousands of people that were participating in these demonstrations, and yet for some weird reason, I don't know. I feel like the media is not covering. The media is dropping the ball on the day of action. You were walking around like a crazy person, like a crazy person. Not defend, serve. He wants to serve Israel. All right, let's look at these Epstein leaks.
Straight to Washington for the latest on the big developing story tonight, the release of millions more Epstein files. Our US correspondent James Matthews is looking through the documents for us. And James, what have you uncovered so far?
Yeah, hi, Gillian. Quite a bit to go through. More than 3 million pages, 2,000 plus videos. And in terms of the number of images...
Bro, they got the Epstein wall again. Oh, my God. Yo, welcome back. We're on the Epstein Cook Corner. And there's a lot to talk about. Right. We're on the Epstein Cook Corner once again. Look behind me. That right there is an international pedophile, Jeffrey Epstein.
More than 180,000. This was publication day by the Department of Justice. Belatedly, of course. They all should have been out 6 weeks ago by law. But there's a lot in there. We have lifted some of the detail, and there are some familiar faces in there. Prince Andrew, or the man formerly known as Prince Andrew, gets a mention. So does Lord Peter Mandelson. Let me read you, Gillian, a few email exchanges, first of all between Prince Andrew and Jeffrey Epstein. Interesting for a number of reasons, one of which is the ease of access that Jeffrey Epstein appeared to have to Buckingham Palace. Let's go through just some of the emails.
I forget that these guys mostly cover the... I forget that these guys mostly are going to cover the English angle, you know what I mean?
On the 11th of August in 2010, Epstein sent an email to former Prince Andrew, and he said this: "I have a friend who I think you might enjoy having dinner with. She'll be in London 20 to 24. And Andrew replied, "Of course, I'm in Geneva until morning of 22nd, but would be delighted to see her. Will she be bringing a message from you? Please give her my contact details to get in touch." He also wrote, "Great, any other information you might know about her that might be useful to know? Like, what have you told her about me? And have you given her my email as well?" Epstein replied, "She's 26, Russian, clever, beautiful, trustworthy, and yes, she has your email." Andrew replied, "That was quick. How are you? Good to be free?" And Epstein says, "Great to be free of many things." Now, Gillian, let me read you an email, and this is from Sarah Ferguson. Clearly, Epstein was a friend of the family. Sarah Ferguson, Andrew's ex-wife, of course. She wrote a letter, said this: "Thank you so much, Jeffrey. I had the best discussion with Target on Friday, and they want desperately the whole Mother's Army project. They also want to get behind my entire Sarah Ferguson brand, books, etc. Tommy Hilfiger wants to build my entire apparel, fragrance, etc. brand and sell it on QVC. NBC want my Mother's Army TV show. Ben Silverman wants it. So too does Ryan Seacrest. In just 1 week after your lunch, it seems the energy has lifted."
God damn, dude. Everybody.
"I have never been more touched," she says, "by a friend's kindness than your compliment to me in front of my girls." And she finishes, "Thank you, Jeffrey, for being the brother I have always wished for." Lord Mandelson, remember their association. Nothing new in the fact that they had a friendship. Mandelson, a visitor to his island, of course, and also a contributor to that notorious Jeffrey Epstein birthday book. Well, there are more email discussions taking place between Mandelson and Epstein. Let me read you one or two. Jeffrey Epstein wrote to his accountant, "Send 2,000 per month to Ronaldo." Now, Ronaldo, it was the then partner of Lord Mandelson, now husband. The reply from the accountant to Epstein says this: "Is this in addition to the 13K you wrote in previous email? Please confirm currency we are sending is US dollars. Will this occur on the 1st of every month? If so, should I start with April now or May? Please advise." Epstein responded saying, no, after rethinking, send $4,000 only. So that's discussion between Epstein and his accountant, and that essentially was Epstein channeling money to the then partner of Lord Mandelson at a time when Lord Mandelson was business secretary of Her Majesty's government. One thing on Epstein I would mention, Gillian, there is a psychological report, more than 80 pages, all of them completely redacted. There is a scrap of information.
We're up to 1,000. YouTube keeps giving me real-time feedback. We're up to 1,764 members. And no, I was wrong. We only got 11,000 new subscribers. I was wrong about that. I thought it was 100K. No, it was not 100K. I show speed, okay?
And it is this, relates to a month before he died in jail, was deemed to have taken his own life. And it says, no significant mental health issues. Threat to self, low.
Sorry, never mind. Since the last update, it's 1,833 members. Pro soldiers, baby. Rise up.
He was, and that was in July 2019. He took his own life a month later in August 2019. So that just gives you a flavour of some of what we're seeing in this latest tranche of files.
James, there are references to President Trump in these documents, aren't there?
There are, and it's early, Gillian, and yes, there are references. How concrete they are is debatable at this stage, so I won't go into any too much detail. But yeah, he's mentioned, there is the mention of an FBI tip-off line, and his name is named in, or it's mentioned in conjunction with that. I'll say no more at this stage. I will say, or I will give you the White House response to that subject matter. They say this production may include fake or falsely submitted images, documents or videos, as everything that was sent to the FBI by the public was included in the production that is responsive to the Act. Some of the documents contain untrue and sensationalist claims against President Trump that were submitted to the FBI right before the 2020 election. To be clear, the claims are unfounded and false, and if they have a shred of credibility, they certainly would have been weaponized against President Trump already. So basically, somebody's phoned up this FBI tip line, said something about Donald Trump. They're saying, be very careful, because there was a lot of false and sensationalist stuff that was put onto this tip line.
And James, what does the release of all of these documents actually mean? What are the implications?
That will depend, frankly, Gillian, on the subject matter, and it's going to take days for all of us to wade through it. I suppose chief among the questions is who's in Jeffrey Epstein's orbit? What was their association? Is there any suggestion that they are associated with criminal wrongdoing actively or just by enabling him, perhaps through their silence? And that will be a question for many people. It will be a question for the president, Donald Trump, a former good friend of Jeffrey Epstein. Remember, they fell out in the early noughties. But it will be a question, what was their association? Did he know about Jeffrey Epstein's criminal impropriety? And, you know, to what extent might he have been...
Wait, Pusha T? Someone in the chat said Pusha T was named on the Epstein list? The f was Pusha T doing on the Epstein list?
Engaged in it. Why didn't he do anything about it? These are questions. I would emphasize that Donald Trump, the president, emphatically denies any knowledge of Epstein's criminal wrongdoing or any involvement in it.
James, thank you very much for the moment. Well, let's bring in
And Jay-Z,
Susie and Madeline now for their...
I'm going to be honest. Jay-Z is the... I'm sorry, Jay-Z is not very surprising. Okay, Pusha T is surprising. But if Jay-Z's on it, like, that's not... That's, I mean, he's a billionaire, man. Guys, he's a billionaire. Every billionaire, dude. From this point on, every billionaire, dude. Every billionaire. It's just like... I'm sorry. It's inconsistent to expect a billionaire not to be there. Bro, guys... We are talking about Bilbo fucking Baggins Gates. who may or may not have gotten an STD on Epstein Island and given it to Melinda. The fuck do you mean is a shock to you that like Jay-Z, another billionaire, might also be somehow tangentially involved? The only billionaire not involved is my GOAT, LeBron. There's no LeBron, right? Please tell me there's no LeBron. Please tell me there is no LeBron on the Epstein files. Stop. If you lie to me, I will ban you. I will ban you personally, one by one, manually. LeGoat, my goat. No Mickey Mouse shit. No Mickey Mouse rings. My GOAT was not Le pedophile.
Their thoughts. 3 million pages of the Epstein files released today. Your thoughts?
Absolutely classic media move to do it on a Friday afternoon. And also another classic move. At the same time, Donald Trump went on his Truth Social and declared some other random stuff about Barack Obama, which everyone had long forgotten about, to do with the alleged Russia hoax. He said now he wants Barack Obama arrested for something else entirely.
Barack Obama.
But it doesn't matter how many dead cats he's going to start throwing out. I think this stuff is still going to take precedence no matter what. I think even Barack Obama is going to go, yeah, Donald, whatever.
Barack
Just
Obama.
be reading the stuff they can find online. So this is just going to, like James was saying, over the next few days, as journalists start going through this and they start finding deeper and deeper stuff in there, it's just going to snowball.
Madeline, what is the significance? I mean, would you describe this as a bombshell?
Well, it's kind of too early to say, but just from what we've been able to see, even in the last couple of hours since it landed, potentially very explosive and involving many different, highly significant, influential people around the world. I imagine there'll be a lot of very powerful people will be squirming tonight and wonder.
Honestly, the weekend's better for the public release because we're not working, so we can check it out. No. Are there ads for the members? Because I got hit with a Melania movie ad like after 2 minutes in the stream law. So for the time being, I don't know how like the YouTube ad stuff works. For the chatters who are wondering, I don't know how the YouTube like ad serving works. So I'll have to figure that stuff out. But I think in the future, I can have members not see ads or something, or like a certain type of ad that members don't see. I don't know. I don't know what it's like. Like, I don't know what the customization stuff is. I'm going to tweak it all up. I'm going to be working on it. I'm going to be trying to figure that shit out. But right now, you have to remember, like, we literally put this together out of nowhere. Shout out to the mod team. Shout out to YouTube on the back end, right? Like, there are a lot of people that work at YouTube that are apparently Hasanabi heads who are watching right now, who worked in real time to try to get the membership launched too. Like, that, you guys don't understand. We put this shit together haphazard, like, last second, okay? I had no coworker wig to help me out. No Ludwig coworker help. You know what I mean? Like, we had to put this stuff together last second, like out of nowhere. So I apologize. But obviously, as always, shouts out to the ADL, the Apartheid Defense League, and shouts out to Ethan Klein. Shouts out to Dan Stalkman, Sex Pestiny, Boner Box, all my haters. And you got me here. You got me here where I'm at. Okay. I didn't think I'd be on YouTube. I didn't think I'd be live streaming on YouTube. So good job. Shouts out to El Israel always, but like, if it wasn't for your most loyal soldiers, I probably wouldn't have broached into the YouTube streaming space. Now, I don't know. I don't know where it is. I don't know where we'll go from here on out, but it's been a unimaginable experience. I had no idea that it would be like this. I had no idea that there was, I do get in my head sometimes when I see all the hate on the internet, where it does sometimes have the capacity to change the way to alter my own perception of how things are, right? Sometimes I'll be like, oh yeah, I mean, I'm going to do this, but I'm not going to get any aid here. I'm not, it's going to be dog shit. We're going to have a lot of issues and stuff. And I'm not going to get like the community support. 'Cause remember, we didn't actually promote this at all. I just like randomly decided to go live on YouTube. So that is, It's certainly been a surprise to me. Certainly been a surprise. And especially all the love that I saw from you guys on YouTube that wanted me to stream here. It wasn't fake at all. All of my friends that have told me, dude, what the fuck are you doing? You got to stream on YouTube. You got to live stream on YouTube. What's wrong with you? They were wrong. They were right. I was wrong. Don't go back to Twitch. The stream is better. I mean, who knows? Who knows what'll happen? But Twitch really cooked my ass yesterday. We had all this stuff planned out, and they just out of nowhere were like, nope, you're done. For the dumbest, silliest reason, too. And now they missed out on hosting this banger stream on Twitch, you know?
What else may be found, but it will obviously take some time to go through it. Here in Britain, we're a little bit behind the news cycle because we will have gone to press with only a couple of hours.
We'll fix the delay, though, for sure.
America time, so that makes it even more difficult. But I think that
I will be fixing the delay times 100p. We will have low latency mode on. I think this stream is the single biggest crack in Twitch's armor. You went from streaming on Twitch to one day streaming on YouTube the next, and you immediately 2x'd your viewership. Yeah. I mean, we'll see what the audience retention looks like. I think a lot of people tuned in because they were invested, they were interested, they wanted to see the band. Let's see what happens if I, live stream again on YouTube, right?
You know, just from what we heard, what I find almost more alarming than the content is simply the tone of some of these emails, an atmosphere of normalized secrecy, coziness, and you can kind of tell from the tone of the emails between Andrew Mountbatten Windsor and Epstein that this feels like quite a normal thing, a kind of routine occurrence, like this has happened before. So I just kind of, I expect that we are really just scratching the surface at this point.
Just to say that Andrew Mountbatten Windsor is quoted as saying, I vigorously deny the accusations against me, and just because people are named in these communications, in these emails, it doesn't imply guilt or any wrongdoing.
But what you can see, aside from any allegations made against Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, that phrase when he said to Jeffrey Epstein...
By the way, another thing that I wanted to show you guys was Kimball Musk, okay? There is a lot of if you recall, when Elon was talking a big game about Jeffrey Epstein, I told you guys that Elon Musk's brother was directly connected to Jeffrey Epstein, Kimball Musk. And now a lot more people know, okay? And I personally did not know how much Jeffrey Epstein was connected to Elon Musk directly. I did not know that Elon Musk was directly connected to Jeffrey Epstein. I thought maybe, here and there, a couple mentions potentially. I didn't know he was begging to go to the island like the bitch he is. God, what a loser. Oh, yeah, I've had such a hard week. Can we do some pedophilia, please? Jeffrey, my best friend. Bitch made. How are you such a loser? How are you such a loser that you're too big of a loser for the pedophile conference? Pedophiles will turn around and be like, nah, man, I don't know. Like, you're kind of up the vibes here. Like, we're trying to do some pedophilia, and you're like really up the vibes. Like, I know you really want to show up, but honestly, I don't know about this. The other pedophiles are ringing up Jeffrey to be like, bro, please don't invite Elon. He really ruins the vibes at the Illuminati sacrifice rituals that we're doing. Like, that's got to be the biggest, that has got to be the worst possible thing you can be. A guy who is desperate to be invited to the pedophilia party, and the other pedophiles are like, man, I don't know, you're really up the vibes. That's crazy. Like, that seems like a bit. Guy who really wanted to be invited to the Epstein parties, but all the other pedophiles were like, bro, you are such a loser. I don't want to be around you. That seems like a bit. Unbelievable, bro. Unbelievable. Oh my God, I'm a pro soldier. Thank you. Is there gifted subs on YouTube, like gifted memberships on YouTube as well? I don't know how that works. Also, we've surpassed 2,000 members officially. We got 2,000 pro soldiers, baby. Let's go. Let's freaking go. I don't know how that works, though, if they're like gifted and stuff, but I'll figure all that out.
Is it good to be free? That's enough. You don't need to have any allegations, proved or otherwise, against the former Prince Andrew to know that means He knows he's talking to a convicted criminal. He knows he was convicted for soliciting a minor for prostitution. He knew he was being...
All right, bro. Lord Mountbatten, I get it. It's like mind-boggling that they're just... come on. I know you guys are British, but like, please give us something different than just like the British people that are involved. There's a lot of Americans involved here as well. Okay.
Actually, huge. Wow. A massive batch of...
Finally, some truth in reporting. Okay, some truth in real reporting from Charlie Moist Critical. Yes, there are gifties. You can give tier 1 or tier 2. Let's go. The Piker Broadcasting Service is sponsored by you. The viewers for you. The viewers. Remember, if you want to be a proletariat soldier, if you want to be a pro soldier, all you need to do is subscribe. You can do for as if it's $6.99, I think. I don't know. Or you can get gifted a sub as well if if you want to gift people other memberships. I don't know. I got to change my plugs now.
Of Epstein files just dropped in hot, fresh off the battle bus here from the top turnbuckle out of nowhere. I didn't think we'd even see any more with the DOJ putting up that huge stink even recently about like how courts can't force them to release it, this and that. It seemed like this was never going to happen because getting them to comply with the law was like pulling teeth. So they were a month late, but they actually released like millions of Epstein files. And there are huge, disgusting, evil things that have been uncovered in this latest batch of Epstein files. This time around, it's a little different than their previous release where there were hundreds of pages of blacked out redactions and that was basically it. This is what you saw with the Epstein files, except I thought that was going to make the camera go black. You get the idea. It was basically just staring into the void. It was just pitch black because everything was redacted. It was just a lot of nothing. But even amidst that nothing, they were so incompetent that they left in the ability to unredact the files yourself, where people were able to catch them breaking the law.
I've never seen YouTube as a member law. No, you have to be watching on desktop version of mobile browser, or you'll be watching on a computer, receive a gifted membership. If you watch on the phone app, you'll never get it gifted. Wait, really? God damn. If you stay here, I have to stop subbing on one of the damn platforms. Yo, Hasanabi, we're not rich over here, Lamau. I mean, we'll see. We'll see what's going to happen. We'll see, man. We'll see. We'll see. I'm becoming a YouTube streamer in real time at this point. Like, because remember, I have more subscribers. Not only do I have more subscribers, which is the YouTube equivalent of members on Twitch, but I also even have more followers, which is the subscription equivalent of YouTube on Twitch. I have 3 million followers on Twitch, and it's not even something that I care about. Like, it's never something that I've even promoted. That just happened because of how much I just stream on there, and people, people subscribe and people follow on there. So it is definitely by far my major platform. Like, PBS is expanding, only kind of inflation I enjoy.
Where a lot of the redacted names were not names of victims. They were various other things, and a lot of the redactions were clearly not victims. Sometimes it even seemed like the redactions were there to protect the names of potential clients and perpetrators, which again is a complete violation of the Epstein Files Transparency Act that they were supposed to be following. But again, even with them farting out completely blacked out pages to protect these pedophiles in power, there were still a lot of huge revelations that came from this, such as co-conspirators that for some reason they never pursued. We don't know who they were because their names have been redacted conveniently, but we learned that there were co-conspirators they were investigating, and I guess they just let the leads dry up and then just said, fiddlesticks, they're gone. Now time to pretend they don't exist. Like Kash Patel under oath lying about it. Perjury Patel, by the way, still not punished for it. And speaking of unpunished, you know who else has been unpunished? Every Epstein client, all of these rapists.
Yeah, but hold on. Guys. Don Lemon. Best I can do is a Don Lemon for you, okay? Can I get a Don Lemon arrest, please? Guys, I know we have not issued any notices. I know that you might be thinking that your confidence in the justice system is shaken. None of the pedophilic elite have even gotten close to being prosecuted. And not only are they not close to being prosecuted, we're defending them. We're defending their honor. We're defending their safety and security. But we arrested Don Lemon because he was doing journalism. which is a direct violation of the First Amendment. But also, think about that. Don Lemon. Like, what the are we doing, man? This administration is so clumsy. Thank God they're so stupid and so incompetent, bro. I swear to God, if they were even halfway decent, if they were even halfway disciplined, we would be so, brother. We would be, because it's not like the Democrats are doing anything to stop them. You know what I mean? Yeah, sure, we got protests happening and stuff like that, but like imagine if they were competent fascists rather than the incompetent fascists that they are currently, constantly adjudicating like the dumbest beefs of all time. Like in their minds, all they are capable of doing is like fighting against Don Lemon and shit. They hate the libs they see on TV. They're like public enemy number one. Yeah. I won't lie, chat. I do feel a level of comfort that these old ass boomers are so primed to television, primetime television, that like they think Don Lemon is the major op here, that they have no idea like the far more radical people that are out there in independent media. I mean, I'll be honest, it's a little bit selfish of me, but that's how I felt after the Jimmy Kimmel stuff a little bit, where I was like, oh, thank God. Like, I hate that they're going after Jimmy Kimmel. I will defend Jimmy Kimmel. We are Jimmy Kimmel. I'm carrying his flame. You made a million Jimmy Kimmels. But like, there was a moment there when we were seeing like the terrorism lists that were getting launched and stuff. Like the administration was saying, we're going to prosecute like all domestic terrorists and stuff. I was like, I straight up was like, I might need to like actually leave the country. And then they blew it. They blew their load on Jimmy Kimmel's most vanilla ass take. And I was like, oh, thank God. Thank God. Because this brought up so much animosity. Because let's be real. Ain't no liberal Democrat is going out and sticking out their neck for someone like myself. They're not going to defend me. They're going to be like, I don't know who the fuck that is. Good. Beat his ass in prison, you know? Don't get complacent. I am not complacent at all, but it's the same shit with Don Lemon. It's the same shit with Don Lemon. They're going after Don Lemon because they remember him from CNN. They hate him for that reason. They hate him as like a woke libtard from CNN, right? Like that's their whole thing. Damn, we got Fossabot. We got Fossabot in the building. Somali Coalition of Socialist Super Soldiers. Hell yeah. Be careful, they've been randomly voiding passports. I mean, that'd be crazy if they just voided my passport. We'll find out tomorrow.
And pedophiles, all of them still just getting away with these unthinkable crimes. No one being handcuffed and thrown in the slammer. Doesn't even seem like they're pursuing any investigations or anything into it. Across 2 administrations now, no arrests outside of Maxwell, who Trump has done everything in his power to ensure she is treated like a queen.
It's true. That is also true. Donald Trump has been very aggressively defending Ghislaine Maxwell, put her in a much nicer prison, like floating clemency. It's crazy. Bush is in the files. Oh my Lord. I mean, that's unsurprising.
At a new summer camp that she now resides at.
Hey, he sent 5 Hasanabi gift memberships. 5 new proletariat soldiers, pro-soldiers.
Even a prison. This is lunacy of the highest caliber. Now, anyway, I know I'm getting kind of sidetracked here with like the previously on Dragon Ball Z with this whole saga. The most recent batch of Epstein files came out a couple hours ago.
Thank you.
Millions of files, so people are still combing through them. But what they are finding is alarming. Trump's name, of course, is all over these files. His name appears more in these Epstein files than Green Eggs and Ham appeared in the Green Eggs and Ham Dr. Seuss book. His name is everywhere with numerous allegations about terrible, awful things. Some things we had heard little bits and pieces about from previous Epstein releases, but this one has significantly more, including this FBI report that claims Trump has been compromised by Israel, which anyone who's been paying attention to this administration shouldn't really be surprised at. I don't think anyone heard that and recoiled in their chair going, what?
Wait, what? You mean to tell me that the Mossad pedophilia blackmail operation that works hand in glove with the CIA also may have compromised perhaps the most pro-Israel president of our lifetime? A lifetime which also includes Joseph Robinette Brandon, an avowed ultra-Zionist? What? Guys, I'm shocked. Let me tell you, how shocked I am, okay? Say it ain't so, buddy. No wonder Nick Fuentes has been doing the pro-Israel rounds left and right. His goat, Donald Trump, who we almost went to jail for, even though he never did, weirdly enough, for January 6th, is up and down the Epstein files and has been defending Israel nonstop. Huh. Shocking.
If anyone's followed everything that's been going on in regards to Trump and Israel, it should be no surprise that the FBI believed he was compromised, is compromised as well, most likely. But this is, again, new information that is hitting the public here from official sources in these Epstein files. These are big. Another huge name appearing in here is Bill Gates. So Bill Gates had an exchange with Jeffrey Epstein, and I think it's been known for a long time Bill Gates was associated with Jeffrey Epstein, but this information here is new that talks about how he contracted an STD apparently and had asked Jeffrey Epstein to provide him with antibiotics that he could secretly dose Melinda with.
Brother! What the heliante? Bro, I know, I heard about this earlier today, but like it still hits you in the face, you know?
He had contracted it from Russian girls, apparently. Another massive name coming in is Elon Musk, who had an email chain with Jeffrey Epstein that was in these files about him trying to plan a visit to Jeffrey Epstein's island, and he seemed to want to find the wildest party, the best time to come through to the island, and he was trying to make plans to go visit the island. These new files also expose blatant lies that a lot of really powerful people tried to peddle to get themselves out of hot water in regards to their close connection to Jeffrey Epstein, like Howard Lutnick. Howard Lutnick is Trump's commerce secretary, and he claimed he cut ties with Jeffrey Epstein in 2005, yet in these files we can clearly see he was emailing Epstein in 2012, planning a trip out there, saying, "Hi Jeff, we are landing in St. Thomas early Saturday afternoon and planning to head over to St. Bart on Monday at some point."
What? Say it ain't so. Not Howard Buttlick. No, not my goat. When you find out all your goats are pedophiles, dude. I've never had my flabbers so aghast.
Where are you located? Does Sunday evening for dinner sound good? I have another couple, Michael and Mary Lehrman, with me on my boat, and each of us has 4 children. 2 16s, 2 14s, a 13, a 12, an 11, and a 7-year-old. Thanks, Howard. What a disgusting freak. He's even listing out the ages of the children that are joining them on their planned trip to Epstein's Island. This is in 2012. That's quite a few years after 2005.
Okay, that's pretty crazy. That's insane. What the did I misunderstand this? Hold on.
16s, 2 14s, a 13, a 12, an 11, and a 7-year-old. Thanks, Howard.
Was bro sending fresh meat? Like, what the or is he just straight up doing like a family vacation on Pedophile Island? Like, I don't understand. He was like, "Oh yeah, great time to vacate, great place to vacation, Pedophile Island with my children."
What a disgusting freak. He's even listing out the ages of the children that are joining them on their planned trip to Epstein's Island. This is in 2012. That's quite a few years after 2005, Howard. Seems like you told a big-time fib. Howard said that he had visited Epstein's house in 2005, but it culminated with him getting the heebie-jeebies. He called him gross and said that was basically kaput. That was the end of his relationship with Epstein. He washed his hands of him back in 2005, but that clearly wasn't true now, was it, Howard? These emails are from 2012, planning a trip out there and making a very odd mention of a bunch of children and their ages that will be joining you to Epstein's Island. Howard Lutnick is your U.S. Secretary of Commerce under Trump right now. This is your Commerce Secretary. And he is one of many very powerful politicians who...
Bro's starting to sound like me saying your Commerce Secretary. Bitch, you're Floridian. I mean, I do it too, to be fair. Sometimes when I want to distance myself from the actions of this administration, but it's a welcomed new way of referring to the Trump admin from Moist Critical, I will say. He said your Commerce Secretary, like my man's in Canada. He's our pedophile Commerce Secretary. I know it's the royal you, man. I'm making a joke.
Whom you'll find in these new Epstein files and previous Epstein files as well. These are just a few of many names, new names as well. Very powerful people who appear in these files with alleged horrible, horrible things that they have done in connection with Jeffrey Epstein and the island. It is a big, big deal. This is undoubtedly just the tip of the iceberg here. This latest batch was millions of files, so there is still a lot of information out there that hasn't been adequately combed through, and still what we are learning right now is heinous. And I feel like it should be pretty obvious that there needs to be investigations conducted here, and maybe a little bit of justice. Maybe some of these evil demons getting arrested, perhaps. Why are none of these people in these Epstein files even being looked into at all? Why does Kash Patel lie under oath about there not being an Epstein list or clients or like co-conspirators when we now have all this available evidence that confirms there definitely were co-conspirators, there definitely are clients, and there is nothing being done, not in this administration, not the previous administration, to hold any of them accountable or find them. This is a huge deal.
Wait a minute. I feel like he's left now. Because, like, when I criticize the previous administration for not doing shit on the Epstein files, like, all the liberals get mad at me. You know? All the liberals get mad at me, and they're like, why are you bringing up liberals? It's like, but you didn't do anything. Epstein appears to have listened to Elon's appearance on the Joe Rogan Experience. Listen to it. He's simply brilliant, though. Woke is so back, bro. Charlie is woke Jesus now.
That nobody should be trying to like minimize the importance of. For some reason, people are trying to pretend as though this is something we should just like brush aside, move on from the whole Epstein fiasco. That is craziness. There are people in the most powerful positions of government right now that are rapists and pedophiles that have got away with unthinkable crimes, and they need to be held accountable. We have so much information here. We have so many names, and we need them to be investigated. We need justice. I don't know why so many people are so okay with being governed by these monsters. It's baffling to me. It actually boggles my mind. This latest batch shows even more evidence, shines even more light on these terrible, terrible things that unfolded here, and the close connections a lot of powerful people had to Epstein and the island. I'll continue to look into the files and see what else turns up from all of this. I'll be, of course, keeping my finger on the pulse of it, and I highly encourage all of you to be paying very close attention to it and the people named in these Epstein files, and the people that try and defend it as well. That is unacceptable. This is indefensible. There's no excuse for it. So anyway, wanted to just give you an update here. That's really about it. See ya.
Well, the files also show that
Woke warrior Charlie. Hell yeah. I wish you didn't think I was a dog abuser, horrible monster, but I'll take it. I'll ride for him regardless.
that Epstein repeatedly took the fifth during a 2016 deposition when asked more than...
Charlie chided a member of his community yesterday for calling him a leftist. Yeah, he is the true centrist, dude. He's the only centrist that actually hides that he's a leftist. Okay? Charlie is the only centrist that because remember, I used to always say, I've never met a centrist who actually, surprise, is actually a leftist, right? I think Charlie's the only one. Fuck it, bro. Let him keep that image. Like, yeah, he hates the left. Yeah, he hates me. He hates the left. I'll take it. I don't give a shit. He's going to have he's going to have a much more significant impact, basically bringing people back to reality from his like normie Jesus centrist position than I ever could. I would rather have someone sincerely be a card carrying leftist who every now and then is like, yeah, I don't really fuck with this on, who then like presents themselves as centrist and is able to basically blue pill their entire audience than a person who you know could be just like every other content creator saying they're centrist but actually very much right wing, you know? Y'all have each other's numbers. Kaya shit is not that irreparable after like 2 conversations. No, he hates me because he thinks I like weaponize my audience against him or some shit. I don't know how crazy y'all got, but he was like, you're like a cult. That's what he said. I did actually reach out to him recently too, to be like, listen, man, respect for, you know, all the work you're doing. I don't care about, you know, what else has happened in the past. But like I said, I don't give a shit. As long as he's like taking this position, it's awesome. Brother, I'm desperate. I'm the only Palestinian Arab Muslim to have been kicked out of Columbia University. All while Israel killed my family and bombed my homes. Or everyone to contact you directly. Send an email to the email list on the on my Twitter. Sorry to hear that, brother. But yeah, I don't think you guys understand. I'm telling you need to look up the Bush stuff right now. It's bad, so much worse than you could imagine. I can't even imagine it being worse than what I can imagine. What I can imagine is that he's a pedophile rapist. Like, it's not the Brennan Mulligan bit, it's reality. I am actually sitting here going, please help. So if someone out there is like doing what Charlie's doing right now, slowly but surely, like demonstrating that they have a conscience, I'll take it. They don't have to be a card carrying socialist, dude. We're not there. There is a ton. There is an unlimited amount of psychotic content creators out there who are doing like actual sex crimes. There's a part in the files about George Bush Sr. eating poop from the intensive executed babies. No, I'm not exaggerating. Okay, that might be just a claim.
And a dozen questions about former President Clinton. Among them, several about whether Mr. Clinton visited Epstein's private island and flew in his private plane. The former president has denied ever having visited the island. So has Elon Musk, yet the files contain at least 2 emails discussing just that. In one from the 24th of November 2012, Epstein writes, "How many people will you be for the heli to island?" Musk responded the next day that it would probably just be him and his then wife, adding, quote, "What day/night will be the wildest party on our island?" A year later, Musk wrote Epstein saying, quote, "We'll be in the BVI St. Bart's area over the holidays," BVI's British Virgin Islands. "Is there a good time to visit?" To which Epstein replied, "Always space for you." It's unclear if that or the other visit took place. Representatives for Musk did not immediately respond to a request for comment about the new emails. And Musk in 2019 told Vanity Fair, quote, "He tried repeatedly to get me to visit his island. I declined." Now, Musk will recall famously...
Bro, leave it to Elon Musk, dude. Leave it to this dork-ass loser who begged to go to the pedophile island and, like, wasn't really invited at all. He's self-invited. Only to turn around and be like, oh, actually, I didn't want to even go. Like, they really wanted me. But what's really funny about it is that this had the audacity to come out and be like, hey, by the way, Donald Trump, you're a pedophile. I know this. It turns out he knows this because he was there. Donald Trump, you're a pedophile. That's why you're on the, that's why you're on the Epstein list and you'll never reveal the Epstein list. Why do I know this? Because I'm a pedophile on the Epstein list. Like, that's what he was. He didn't say the second part about that. Like, the second part of that statement never came. And we were just like, wow, that's crazy that Elon Musk is just like blowing the lid off this shit. Turns out he was like, yeah, I saw you there because I was there. It's crazy.
Posted this during his beef with the president this year, quote, "Time to drop the really big bomb. Trump is in the Epstein files." Minutes later, he followed up with, quote, "Mark this post for the future. The truth will come out."
And then he deleted that, by the way. That was also funny. Coward.
That's kind of hard to do. He seems to have taken the post down along with the first one. Also in the files, Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick, who famously said he'd broken ties with Epstein in 2005, vowing to, quote, "never be in the room with that disgusting person ever again." The files, though, reveal Lutnick or his wife, Allison, were in touch with Epstein as recently as 2012. In an email from Allison Lutnick in November of that year, she writes, quote, "We are looking forward to visiting you," adding, "We are traveling on a yacht called Excellence, and I am CCing the captain." A spokesperson for the Commerce Department did not immediately respond to a request for comment. So a lot to talk about tonight. Starting us off, CNN Chief Legal Affairs Correspondent Paula Reed. She's been going through the documents all day. So what stands out to you from the documents you've reviewed so far?
So the document that really stands out at this point is this list of accusations against President Trump, because the FBI compiled this list last summer, and this is a lot of the kind of information that investigators gather when they're looking at whether charges should potentially be pursued. For example, they're looking at unverified tips. Some include secondhand information that came through a tip line. It appears the FBI...
Brody, I'm being very serious when I say this. This might come across as offensive to everybody that's watching right now. But if I was given the opportunity, I would put Joe Biden on a spaceship to Mars. Okay? Because how is your Department of Justice and your FBI sincerely investigating Donald Trump's ties to Jeffrey Epstein, and then this dumbass that you couldn't even prosecute and throw in prison for doing January 6th is running his goddamn mouth trying to be the president again, and you don't bring that shit up? You don't even float this? Instead, you bring out Kamala Harris's campaign brought out Bilbo Clinton, man. They sent Clinton's carcass to Dearborn to be like, yeah, that's right, Judea and Samaria. I cannot believe it. These want fascism, bro. I'm sorry. Wake up. It really is a big pedophile club and you're not in it, okay? You don't want to be in it, obviously, but what the hell are we doing? Like, this is what I mean when I say these guys don't want to win, bro. They don't want to win. Can you imagine the treasure trove of data that you have on your oppositional figure? Like, even from a cynical point of view, because like my first reaction to this is like, if this information is out there, I need everyone to know, right? Like, that's the moral position. You don't want people to go and vote for a pedophile, right? But even if you're like, well, everybody's doing it, we're all billionaire elites, right? Come on, Illuminati, sex rituals and stuff like that. But at least use it for gamesmanship, you know what I mean? To eliminate your enemies. Because you know whose name I haven't seen in the Epstein list? Joseph Robinette Brandon. That's why he's unique. Because he was a ride or die pro-Israel guy through and through, despite being Irish Catholic. Okay? Perhaps the only Irish Catholic on the planet that's pro-Israel. Like, he wasn't even caught, you know, any of the Jeffrey Epstein like sex traffic victims or any minors or anything. He was not like on the plane, and that's why he's like, I love Israel. Like, that didn't even happen. He just loved Israel for the love of the game. Think about that. Think about how disturbed of a psychopath you must be that you're like, I love Israel not because they have me blackmailed with like children, but instead I just love Israel so much. I love him so much. What the hell, man? What the hell?
Followed up on some tips. At least one was found to be unverified. But this is the kind of information they collect but do not usually make public if there are no charges brought in a case. Now, of course, President Trump has always denied any wrongdoing connected.
I'm sorry, but this is also a hilarious dynamic that I routinely bring up, and I have to repeat it again. The very same dynamic between the Republicans and the Democrats in terms of like the ratchet effect exists in the Epstein case as well. In our lifetime, we've had two Democratic presidents, okay? For maybe some, it's three. But for a lot of Zoomers, they've only seen two Democratic presidents, Barack Obama and Joe Biden, neither of which is in the Epstein files. And neither of them actually blew the lid on this shit. Once again, the exact same dynamic of like Republicans rape and burn everything, and then Democrats come in after and don't do anything about it. They just go, oh, well, what can you do? Oh, what can you do? It's just normal raping and pillaging. Come on. Like, it's the same with policy, and I guess it's the same with pedophilia protection, where you literally have like rapist monsters You got rapist monsters up and down, running up and down the White House, and you did not even think that the public should know about it. The public should actually do something about it. Now, obviously, I said for Zoomers, it's only 2 Democratic presidents. If you're my age, if you're, a boomer, if you're 700 years old like I am, then you've seen 3 Democratic presidents. And the third one, obviously, is, he was more Jeffrey Epstein than Jeffrey Epstein himself, right? He was Bill Clinton. So obviously, he's not going to do that. Oh my God, Neek's kid. Oh my God, Neek's kid. Oh my God, he's in here. Oh my God, he's in here. Ain't no way, bro. Ain't no way. He said Biden stood on principle not to weaponize the FBI. Wait, hold on. I'm trying to highlight the chat. God damn it. It's so hard to highlight the chat on YouTube chat. Biden stood on principle to not weaponize the FBI. He believed protecting democracy. That's not a weakness. We got Neekskit in the building. Oh my God, we got Neekskit in the building. He's back. My goat is back. He's even on YouTube chat. Respect. Hey, Neekskit, respect. Also, suck my dick. You idiot. Bro said Biden loved the rule of law so much that he sheltered international pedophiles. Like, think about how stupid you have to be to come up with that sentence. You see, it's my love for the rule of law and the separation of powers that caused me to not release the names of internationally wanted sex criminals who then ended up becoming the president and his lackeys. My Lord, what a brain on Neekskit. What a brain on him. Thank God, bro. Thank God. Thank God that we didn't lose him. Thank God all my best chatters are in here right now being their dumbass selves. I thought when we were on YouTube, being on YouTube, we would have lost the recipes, Nope. Still here, baby. Let's go.
To Epstein, but there are a lot of questions that are raised here. First of all, why did the FBI make this list of accusations specifically relevant to President Trump, though President Bill Clinton was also mentioned in there? The document was also taken down at least twice today. Last time I checked, Anderson, it was back up. But this list of allegations will likely prompt more questions for the Justice Department and the White House, even though this release is, of course, part of an effort to try to tamp all this down.
Trump in the Epstein files. The Justice Department releasing millions of new pages of documents from the Epstein files, and among them is a list that Trump's own Justice Department compiled, his own Justice Department. This list details a list of sexual assault allegations related to the president. Now, this list was released this morning as part of this document dump, but then suddenly disappeared from the Justice Department's website. That was noticed, called out, that got posted again. The administration claims that snafu was because the site got overloaded. Now, many of the allegations appear to have come from unverified tips. Some are incredibly graphic and disgusting and upsetting, frankly. The files also today released included a complaint from a woman who accused Trump of raping her in 1994 when she was 13 years old. According to the complaint, the woman identified as Jane Doe claims, quote, Epstein was angry that Trump was the one to take Doe's virginity and then went on to rape Doe. That's just disgusting and depraved. It goes on in graphic detail. These descriptions do mirror the...
Dude, what is this life? What is this life that we're living? I guess this doesn't really matter for the average MAGA guy because, like, Trump literally was convicted of doing a rape in a civil proceeding, much like Rape Tone. Sorry. Much like Rape Tone. Trump, too, was convicted in a civil proceeding of being found liable of doing rape. What is this? Please, if you switch to YouTube, upload the audio to Spotify like H3 does. A lot of your listeners use VODs as an audio podcast. Bro, I just started on a new platform and you already want me to be on a third platform? Like, what are you talking about, man? Calm down, dude. Guys, I'm 34 years old. You need to give me a break here, okay? I can't be doing all of that stuff. Also, the live broadcast viewership has officially surpassed 1 million views for the record already. Yeah. And we got like 2,000 plus, 2,400 members as of like half an hour ago. So that's probably even higher than that. First day in, baby. Not bad. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. You employ 3 producers? Yeah, but it don't matter. I have to have I have to have complete control over everything that I do. I think a lot of you guys don't understand how much involvement I have in every aspect of this production. Like, I'm a boomer. I have my limits, but like, I'm the one who's tweaking all this shit back here. I'm the one who, because I have a policy. I need to know how to work all the hardware. I need to know how to work all the software so I can do it on my own if push comes to shove. How much is super chats? I don't know. I'll figure it out after the stream, and I'll post the super chats and all the other stuff as well, because I'm gonna be, like I said, I'm gonna donate all the super chat revenue to a charity, most likely Charla. But I mean, the stream got 81,000 likes, I think. How many likes did it get? 41,000 people watching. How many hours in at this point? Almost 8 hours in. Almost 8 hours in. 81,000 likes, still 41,000 going strong. It's unbelievable. These numbers are unbelievable, dude. What the hell? I never thought it would be like this, bro. It's not going to be like this every day. I think this is just a one-off.
Allegations of Jane Doe made in her 2016 lawsuit against Trump, a lawsuit that was eventually dropped. Now, at the time, Trump denied the allegations, his attorney telling Politico it is categorically untrue, it is completely frivolous, it is baseless, it is irresponsible. I won't even discuss the merits because it gives it credibility it doesn't deserve.
Goddamn, CNN.
And Trump's DOJ, again, stressing, quote, this production may include fake or falsely submitted images, documents, or videos, as everything that was sent to the FBI by the public was included in the production that is responsive to the act, referring to the act of Congress forcing them to release these files, of which this chunk they're releasing, of course, is a month after the deadline. And while Trump is not accused of any wrongdoing in relation to Epstein at this time, he has fought vehemently and obsessively against the release of the files, lashing out at reporters who have pressed him for a long, long time on why his Justice Department has been so slow to release anything.
I have nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein. You just keep going on the Epstein files. And what the Epstein is a Democrat hoax. We have nothing to do with Epstein. The Democrats do. All of his friends were Democrats.
Is there something incriminating in the files, sir?
Quiet. When you talk about the Epstein hoax, it's just a hoax. The whole Epstein thing is a...
Bro, okay. I'm here for the CNN compilation guy, okay? I don't know who did this. But CNN recently started doing Daily Show style compies, and I'm here for it. More of this, please, okay? They did this the other day as well. I don't know who was like, you know what? Barry Weiss is over there up CBS News. Maybe we should be a little bit more competent. And they just keep doing these new compilation videos, and I'm on board. I mean, respect to the producers. Maybe shouts out if they're Hasanabi heads, but respect to the producers out there. If you're working for CNN doing these compilations, you're doing a great job. I'm on board.
Democrat hoax.
Joining us now is Virginia Democratic Congressman.
I don't know. I didn't even realize that you were live an hour ago. Wait, really? Airport Pigeon says, I don't know. I didn't even realize you were live until like an hour ago. So I'd imagine you have lots of Twitch chatters who aren't even in here yet. Hey, Dr. Bryn Smits, thank you for the 5 gifted. Trump used to be a Democrat. True. I would love this to be the new MAGA cope. I love this. Like, imagine if MAGA was like, yeah, Trump's not real MAGA, actually, because he was a Democrat back then. He's MAGA now, so he's over it. He's over the pedophilia. But also simultaneously, is it such a big deal, brother? You know?
James Walkinshaw, who sits on the House Oversight Committee. So, Congressman, the ranking Democrat on the Oversight Committee, Congressman Robert Garcia, released this blistering statement after the files were released, saying, quote, in part, We are demanding the names of Epstein's co-conspirators and the men and pedophiles who abused women and girls. Do you accept the government's explanation for the redactions they've made?
No, I don't. I mean, look, the Trump administration and the Department of Justice has slow-rolled this release at every turn. Today, they released 3 million of the 6 million documents we know they have. We know they have 6 million because they said it. They released 50% of the documents, and the 50% we have today are heavily, heavily redacted. So they continue to cover up the full truth that's in the files. So we're going to continue to push the Oversight Committee's investigation. Will continue throughout this Congress and into the next Congress, I suspect. We're not going to stop until we get the transparency that the survivors are demanding.
I mean, some of the claims in some of these files are I mean, pretty bizarre and don't sound very credible. In your view, should the general public, I mean, what should the general public take away from these files? How are people supposed to know what's credible and what isn't?
Yeah, I think that's absolutely fair. And, you know, there are a number of uncorroborated or perhaps unverified allegations against President Trump there. And I think what I would say is all of that deserves additional scrutiny. Some of them have been revealed publicly in the past and perhaps have limited credibility, but all of them should be explored. You know, the Oversight Committee in the coming weeks, we're going to be deposing Jeffrey Epstein's accountant, his attorneys, the attorneys for his estate. So we're going to continue to ask questions. And I think this.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Elon Musk asked to go to Jeffrey Epstein's pedophile island at 6 a.m. on Christmas morning at the end of 2012. 6 a.m. Christmas morning. Brother, are you kidding me, dude? Oh my God, he's such a loser. Like, there's no good time to go to the pedophile island, but I feel like there are worse times, right? Like, there's no good time. It's only bad or spectacularly bad, right? And Elon Musk is such a loser that he chose the worst of all worlds. Oh my God. Unimaginable, unbelievable, unbelievable. These guys run the world. These pedophiles run the world, brother. How is that possible? Genuinely absurd that you're condemning the Dems for not weaponizing the Justice Department. Wait, what? Oh, I missed it. Oh, respecting victims by not turning this real investigation into a media circus like now. Dude, you're not going to make it. 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 We're talking about like a serious investigation into international sex criminals that are still walking among us, that are still straight up holding the levers of power in American society, internationally, as a matter of fact. The revelation of who these people are with a redacted, obviously like protecting the victims, is precisely what the Democrats should have done, you dingus. It is the moral position. And not only that, this also shows their immorality and perhaps even complicity. Okay, it shows their stupidity as well. You do know that the victims want this information out there, right? You know that, right? No, you don't know that actually, because you are such a Democratic Party dick rider that you don't even think about anything. You don't even think about anything at all. You just think, oh, I don't like Hassan. He's probably criticizing the Dems. It's probably for no good reason. Stop trying to defend the Democrats when they're doing bad. Okay? What the hell is wrong with you, man? All right, we're back. All right, even with the latency, even with the ping, we still got dummies in the chat. Thank God I still have my dumb ops. That's a crazy position, dude. Democrats are running in an election against a serial killer, and they're like, yeah, it's good that we actually didn't reveal this information that he was a serial killer. What are you, crazy? You think the victims' families don't want to know that their serial killer is running for president and became president, and now as president, he's doing everything in his power to hide the other serial killer co-conspirators? Get the out of here. Hey, yo, what are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? Y'all need Allah. You need Allah. You need to read the Quran.
This release, although limited, not what the law requires, this release will provide information to guide our questioning as we move forward.
Among the materials that the Deputy Attorney General Blanche said were withheld from...
Oh, he said he was RPing? I tried to be Neekskit, but I memed too hard. I'm sorry. Oh, guys, not yet. Not yet. Neekskit can do that because he's Neekskit, and I know he's an idiot. Don't LARP it. I don't know your usernames yet. Okay, this is a totally different environment. This is a totally different environment. Just put a /s on it or something, okay? You're not even using emojis. You're not even using emojis. How am I supposed to know? That's another problem. That's another problem with like YouTube chat as opposed to Twitch chat. There's no tell when someone is like around. You know what I mean?
This release were files that would jeopardize an active federal investigation. Is it clear to you what investigative avenues remain at this point, or if there are any active federal investigations ongoing into this?
I have no insight into the active investigations that the Department of Justice might be engaged in. Obviously, we know President Trump has done what he has done repeatedly and directed the Department of Justice to investigate his political opponents or Democrats with respect to...
Sorry if you answered. Okay, Osama. See, that's the chatter I know. Sorry if you answered earlier, but what's the go-to with sharing links to YouTube chat? I haven't figured that out yet, but we'll figure out a way for members to be able to send links again. I'm also going to have a long talk with YouTube after this. Not immediately after this conversation, after the stream, but I will be having a long talk with YouTube about best practices for streaming on this platform and like ways to improve. Because I know there's a lot of people that work at YouTube that are Hasanabi heads, and I want to have a conversation with them about like how to make this like how to make it easier to live stream on here and have like a sense of community. I know there will be plenty of things that they won't do. After all, you know, coworker Wig, when he came to YouTube with like a fat contract from YouTube, he tried to get some changes done and they were like, no, we don't really care about it. Are you permabanned? No. I'm not. It's a 3-day. It was a 7-day. I did an appeals process thing. I apologized for my tremendous slights against the apartheid state that's conducting a genocide and the ideology that is the underpinning of this like that necessitates this apartheid state to exist. Many apologies were made. No, I had to do like a test. It's so funny that I've been banned for hate speech twice now. And it was, the first time was we're making fun of white people, and the second time was making fun of Zionists, which is also, again, mostly white people. I have the funniest bans on Twitch, dude. I'm a 2-time hate speech ban champion. First time was for saying cracker. Second time was for saying Zionist pig. Ultra Zionist pig. It's a hilarious track record that I have. Meanwhile, streamers are out here slipping N-words and shit, you know what I mean? While they're doing Slur Saturdays on the Burnt Toaster Peanut podcast or whatever the fuck they're doing. I'm out here revolutionizing the game. I'm out here revolutionizing the game in ways that most human beings would not even perceive as hate speech. There's a pattern here, but I can't quite figure it out. Oh, yeah, I'm the reverse racist gold medalist, dude.
Epstein, I hope that's not the path they're doing. If there are real, legitimate investigations based on what they've learned in the files, those should proceed without any interference or involvement from President Trump.
And as we mentioned, the Deputy Attorney General Blanche said that unredacted files would be made available to lawmakers who coordinate with the Department of Justice. Is there a plan to do that? I mean, obviously, it's a lot of files. Is that even possible?
I know that Congressman Khanna and Massey have written a letter asking to review those unredacted files. I think the Democrats on the Oversight Committee and hopefully Republicans as well will be talking about how we can coordinate to review those unredacted files. I certainly want to understand what's been redacted.
Chat said, show us. Yeah. Look, it's not like you can see anything. Chat's like, bro, the screen is off. Can you please show us? Okay. We can't see. Yeah, guess what? You still can't. Look at this. Look at this. Beware, recorded music in the background on YouTube. This entire VOD may be taken down. We'll figure that out. I'm sorry, man. I just never really thought that I would be alive at a time when we'd be ruled by, I mean, we were always ruled by active pedophiles, but like, I just didn't think that we would know and somehow also not have like the overwhelming majority of the population rise up in arms. We truly are destined for medieval peasantry, I think, because this is exactly what the kings did, right? Like they would just be like, yes, bring me a slave. Bring me a slave daughter. And then the peasants would be like, yes, my lord, here's your slave daughter, my lord. She's my daughter. And then the rest of the peasants were like, yeah, but it's a heaven's grace smiles upon you, my lord. Like, that's where we're at. Right? It's the same shit. Yes, me lordship. You're a part of the king's court. You can my daughter. Her for me, me lord. Prima nocta. And it's like basically the same exact principle. It's just that instead of assuming that like God ordained with divine intervention, God ordained the king to be the king. Now we're just like, oh, he worked really hard. he worked 1 trillion times harder than the average person. And also 1 trillion times smarter than the average person. Like as though there's such a capacity. Like the average 9-to-5er that has to do Uber deliveries on the side so they can have disposable income because they're paying off like medical debt or credit card debt is not working harder than Elon Musk. Yeah, maybe that person is not working as hard as Elon Musk at children, okay? That's what Elon Musk is apparently working hard at. Begging to go on child sex predation island. Like the notion of merit, is such a sham. I mean, look at me. I'm a dumbass, dude. I shouldn't be making more money than teachers and scientists and people like that. And my haters who always love talking about that shit, who defend capitalism vociferously, fail to comprehend that reality. You know what I mean? Oh my God, this guy's still spamming. Please, if you switch to YouTube, upload the audio platform. A lot of your listeners use the VOD as an audio podcast. Okay, man. All right, you got it. You got it. W Hunger. Okay? W Hunger. This guy is not, it's not enough that I just like went on a whole ass new platform. Okay? It's not enough that I started brand new on a new ass platform. There's chatters in here being like, actually, you should go on a third platform. Have you thought about kick streaming? W Hunger, chat. W Hunger. I love saying W Hunger. What's crazier to me is that the Prima Noctis didn't even really exist, so that makes us even more peasant brain than the medieval serfs. Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true.
Acted, and more importantly, why?
Congressman James Walkinshaw, I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.